PTSD. Hey, this is Billy Goldfeder answering some of your questions from you as part of What's Your Problem series hosted by firerescue1.com and Lexipol. And here's today's question. Why do municipalities ignore PTSD issues within the ranks? That's a wide range question. So I'm going to assume you're saying that the administration of your fire department, of your city, of your fire district, or whatever, aren't treating PTSD as seriously as perhaps they should. And that's a great question. So we'll talk about it very briefly because it's a very intense subject. Before I go any further, I guess I want to give you my opinion on PTSD. And it's not one broad brush issue across the board. What impacts me may not impact you. And let me explain what I mean by that. So I was on a run many years ago, it's probably 15 years now, where several kids were killed at this fire. They were actually murdered, and then the father set the house on fire. It's a pretty bad call, as you can imagine. Following that run, several of the people on the scene actually ended up going on medical disability and retiring. And that kind of surprised me because it didn't impact me that way. But it doesn't mean I'm right or I'm wrong. It means I'm different and they're different. And not the majority of the people on that call didn't leave, right? Just a few. So I liken it to a story I've written probably in the last 2 years where I liken it to eating fish. Let's say you and I and some friends all go out for dinner and you guys order fish. That's the last thing I'm ordering. I can't stand fish, okay? But it doesn't make me right. It doesn't make me wrong. It just makes me different, okay? Let's say we go to a comedy club after dinner. And you and I and some of us are just laughing like there's no tomorrow. And the people with us are looking at us like we're crazy. Like, that's not even funny. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't mean I'm right about stuff. It doesn't mean my humor's better. It means I'm different. And I think that's what we have to understand when we're dealing with the behavioral health issues in the fire service and, of course, PTSD. The way we all see things is we see them differently, and that's what has to be remembered. So why don't municipalities and some leadership treat it seriously? Because I think, in my opinion, they're broad brushing the issue. Oh, suck it up. Oh, don't worry about it. Well, I think what has to happen is your union, your volunteer association, whoever you have, or perhaps your fire chief or whoever, it needs to get with the folks who are involved with this and educate them. What you don't want is them to have to deal with a situation after it occurs and we're kind of taking a shotgun or shoot from the hip approach. You need to educate them over time of what PTSD is, how it is different for everybody. Because look at the military. We hear about soldiers dealing with PTSD, but we hear about many soldiers who are not dealing with PTSD. So to answer your question, let's just go back, why do municipalities ignore PTSD issues within the ranks? Because I don't think the people responsible are being educated. So I think that's your first step, is to educate them and just consider my theory, the fact that everybody's different. So the way I'm going to see an emergency call, one more example. Before I had kids, I'd respond to kid calls, and certainly they were terrible, tough calls, but they didn't really impact me. Then I became a dad, and as I would respond to kid calls, they'd impact me differently. Now, thank God I'm fine and I'm able to deal with it and still, be on the job. It didn't require me to leave or even get counseling, but I do see it differently since I had kids. And that means we all relate to different things based upon our life experiences and our DNA. Who are we, right? So back to your question, why? Because I don't think they're educated. I think they're prejudging. I think they have their own impressions about how things are. And it's just going to take you and the leadership of your organization to spend some time with those folks who are going to make those decisions when you truly have a situation to deal with, so they can properly deal with it and take good care of you. Well, hey, email Fire Rescue 1 with your questions. I'm glad to help you out. In most cases, you're going to get some opinion. And the opinion I'm bringing to you with 48 years of doing what we do, and this is my opportunity to share and give back and provide maybe some avenues to provide answers to some problems that may be bugging you. Thanks so much. I look forward to hearing from you.